Alright, welcome to part 4 of the Lowbrow Nerds Portal 2 playthrough. This is Xicon, and I'll be playing Portal 2 today. Alright, we just finished the first aerial faithplate chamber, so now GLaDOS is going to ramp it up a bit, and we have the advanced aerial faithplate chamber. Now, my primary criticism of the last one was that you didn't actually have to use portals in it. In this one, though, that problem is solved, and there are actually a number of ways that you can use portals to work with the faithplates here. Obviously, the first step is to step on them, and it's really quite a thrill to be soaring through them. But that's quickly erased when you have the stress of making sure you get your portals placed on time, else you die. Now, this might seem like a little a joke moment here, but the trash that GLaDOS sends out through the ventilator here not only is a prick joke and a setup for a later joke, but it serves to illustrate that objects go through the faithplates with the same trajectory as you do. Well, not quite the same, but a very similar trajectory as you do, and also illustrates where the objects are going to come out. So that when I press the button a second time, it is predictable that the cube will launch through the faithplates, through the portals I placed, and then come to land right about here. So that instead of waiting to fall down and having to go down there and portal back up, I can just grab it. It's quite a catch. You can play baseball with this thing. Not sure why I actually came down here, but there are two ways that you can actually solve this one. One that I thought of later. Instead of actually having to physically catch the cube and dropping it onto the button here, you could simply replace one of the portals on the launch over on the right side above the button, and it'll fall right down on top of it, which is a much simpler and more passive way of solving it, and I think a more creative way. But apparently I'm not very creative since I took the let me grab the cube method. God, the loading screens in this game. It's the only problem with it. Alright, this room is the notorious return of the companion cube. Now, when I first saw it, I won't lie, I did have a bit of a girlish squee here. I do miss the companion cube, and that was one of my favorite parts of the original Portal, that they can ask you to identify with a steel cube and actually have it successful just by the little heart on the cube is very impressive of Valve's storytelling abilities, and to bring it back is a nice touch. Of course, GLaDOS has to taunt you again by fizzling them, but nevertheless, I was very happy to see them. With that said, I am still very, very pleased that they kept it to a minimum here, because like the cake jokes, it's a nice reference, it was a cool part of the original Portal, but the game needs to stand on its own. It's nice to have a callback to what made Portal 2 possible, but it's very important that they keep true to Portal 2's spirit, and the companion cube does not necessarily fit as well in the scope of things as it did in the original Portal. Despite all that, I still make my best effort to carry it with me throughout the level, even past the level. I love my cube. Everyone loves the cube. And naturally, we're all very disappointed when GLaDOS refuses to let us have the cube. Not sure why I thought I could do that, but nevertheless, I did it. Should probably think things through a bit more. I've been making a lot of mistakes here. Ooh, that had to hurt. See, now when I first played through this, I already had the cube with me when GLaDOS pointed out that you're not supposed to take anything with you, even though the emancipation grill was broken, and I felt kind of vindicated by the fact that I was trying to smuggle it through when Valve clearly wants you to, otherwise GLaDOS would not have made that comment. Now, this is a very, very simple puzzle, made considerably more difficult by the presence of this emancipation grill. Because it's here, players feel like they're going to need to make a much larger deal out of crossing it than they actually do, when it's very simple. It's just setting up two portals, and the Emancipation Grill essentially disappears. And yet, my first playthrough, I way overthought it, and was stuck in this room for a good 5-10 minutes before I realized how simple it was. It's very interesting how Valve can complicate one puzzle just by the addition of an additional obstacle that honestly isn't that much of an obstacle to begin with.